here you are.
Critics are calling The Killer a top-grade, heart-racing thriller. It's a terrific, anxiety-inducing, and daring movie that hits the mark.
This is what it takes.
You won't be able to tear your eyes from the screen.
Please, consider yourself lucky if our paths never cross.
Don't miss Michael Fassbender as The Killer.
Rated MA 15+. Watch The Killer, only on Netflix, November 10.
Dean Evans joins us on this Friday ahead of Champion Stakes Day. G'day, Dino.
G'day, Gareth. How you going, mate?
Good, thank you. What do you make of Champion Stakes Day? Because it's turning into one of my favourite meetings of the year, but just trying to work out the form, because you've got to work out, okay, then what races are these afterthoughts for a few of these horses, but the prize money's so great. So a trainer's now starting to learn to build their campaigns around this race meeting. But before that, you've got the Cox Plate, the King Charles and races like that, the Everest, that have been grand finals for some of these horses. So I just find this race meeting intriguing in a way.
It is, and you hit the nail on the head. It's an intriguing, interesting sort of concept, very similar to the international race day they have in Hong Kong in December. We've got sort of the champion sprint, the mile, and the 2,000 metre race, weight raised, $3 million, plenty of prize money. But I think you've hit the nail on the head. One of the keys with horses, and particularly at the top level, is you can only go to the well a certain number of times, and when they're really trying to peak for those really, really big races, like you said, the King Charleses and the Cox Plates and the Everests and these sorts of things, then a big part, I think, of doing the form for these meetings is looking at where are the afterthoughts. And I think last year we had some sort of spoilovers, like Rock and Horse winning the sprint, and I just think you've really got to try to have a look at their preps and see which horses might just be a run too far. And I think last year in all cases, even the horses that sort of won around well, they didn't run to their peaks at this point. And so, like you say, I think the trainers still getting used to whether they're setting the horses for this race or whether they've already set them for something earlier in the carnival.
We'll take a look at the 3 Group 1s with you at Flemington tomorrow. We'll start off with the Champion Sprint. This is a clash we've been waiting for a long time now between the Queen of Australian sprinting in Secret and the Queen of New Zealand sprinting, Imperatrice. Many say Imperatrice is the best sprinter in the world from what we've been able to see from her at Moonee Valley, but she comes down the straight at Flemington for the first time, which of course presents a different challenge for her, but she's into $1.85 now with Bet365. In Secret, $4.60. Then we go down to the other horse under double figures here. So Imperatrice is $1.85. In Secret, $4.80. Bella Nipotina is next best at $12. Afura, $13. Star Patrol, $16. Espiona, $17. Airman, $26. Buenos Noches, $23. And then Front Page, $29. How do you work out this race? Are you with Imperatrice or In Secret here, basically?
Look, I'm leaning towards In Secret. Imperatrice certainly has the runs on the board this prep. Her ratings have been through the roof. She's run just exceptional times in her Moya win and her Manikato win. So, no question about that. I think, but she's not a totally bomb-proof horse in the sense that they've been vocal that she prefers going sort of anti-clockwise rather than clockwise. Obviously, this is down a straight, but it's a little bit of a question mark. I do see in a very, very early form going through New Zealand. The only sort of straight 6 New Zealand has is Trentham, and she doesn't have a run down there, so she's really never done anything down the straight. And what she's taking on here is In Secret, who I'd say is the best straight horse in Australia. She's only run down the straight twice. She won the Coolmore, very comprehensively, and then came out and won the Newmarket. And so, her straight track credentials are there and exposed, and she's fourth up here In Secret. 7 of the last 12 winners have been fourth up. It's the perfect mix, and also 5 of the last 6 winners of this race have come out of the Everest. And last year, Nature Strip came out of the Everest and got beaten nose. So she's got all the right form lines. She's a queen down the track In Secret. I just get the sense that with Imperatrice bounding along up there on pace, In Secret's going to have the drop on her, and I can see her storming our home outside and knocking off Imperatrice.
Yeah, I think I'm with In Secret. More I look at that race, I got a lot of respect for Imperatrice, and she's been sensational. She's gone to a new level this campaign, even though she was so good last preparation. But I just think In Secret at the price, the gap's just too big for mine between those two star mares. And there's an argument to say that if she drew a marble In Secret, she would have won an Everest. It was nearly impossible for her from that gate that day.
Yeah, it had to be yanked right out the back, and that was the day when they were favouring, on the fence and on pace. She'd come from dead last, flowing home, run to the plus 7.7 of the last 1,000, which was the quickest of the day. So she's flying. We know that, and she goes really well down the straight. So I think she also you get the sense that the Everest obviously was a target, but this race was also a target for her. And it was from Imperatrice too, but Imperatrice is sort of they're giving her best in 3 runs in a row, and I just think at the prices, In Secret is definitely the value.
I was having a look at this race at Flemington, the Champions Mile, that I can't wait for, but there was I was looking at the nominations a couple of minutes just before nominations closed. There was only 4 horses in the Champions Mile. I think Alligator Blood was in the Champions Stakes until they said, well, we've got to go into the Champions Mile now, and I think that Pride of Jenny was a late nom as well. So that just got me thinking once again, just to confuse me after finding out that piece of information. So you got Mr. Brightside 250 is the market leader, Fangirl at 290, Alligator Blood 340, Pride of Jenny 17, The Inevitable $23, Victoria Road 26, Banker's Choice 61. Now, hear me out here, Dino. This is my theory. Fangirl I want to be with, but I don't know if it's an afterthought, and I'm a little concerned if Pride of Jenny crosses to the front, makes it a truly run race, that she might be vulnerable and that turn of foot might be taken away from her. But in saying that, I want to be on her because I can't get the King Charles out of my mind, and the smaller field on a firm track suits her. Brightside's going to get a lovely run just off the pace back to the mile. And if you go on his Cox Plate run and his runs before the King Charles, he looks awfully hard to beat. But Alligator Blood, he might cross to the front here if Pride of Jenny misses it and dictate terms like he did last year. But then I'm thinking, well, why were they in the Champions Stakes and not the Champions Mile and only changed their mind like at the deadline of nominations closing? So I'm just completely confused, basically. Have I confused you more?
It's definitely tricky from that perspective, this race. There's Mr. Brightside, Alligator Blood, Fangirl, even Victoria Road. They could have all run in the 2,000 metre race, and so it's interesting to see with the small sort of field that they've elected to come here. Pride of Jenny makes the race really interesting as well, because she only knows one way, so she's going to put up a really strong speed up front. We know Alligator Blood can absorb strong speed, but again, with the likes of Alligator Blood, I just think Alligator Blood's been up for the Underwood, the Caulfield Stakes, where he said an absolutely breakneck speed, the Cox Plate, and again, Mr. Brightside, who was up since the PB Lawrence in mid-August, winning those sort of races. The Memsie Mackay seemed a little bit flat. Had to go to Sydney to George Main, managed to hold it up, and still run well on the Cox Plate. Now he's an iron horse if he can run well again here. I do feel like Fangirl is the fresher horse on the scene. She just hasn't had the tough runs. She's been out the back, flying home. They ran pretty soft early sectionals in the Warwick Stakes and the Seven Stakes. They ran really soft. They were 10 lengths below par for the first section in the King Charles as well, so she was able to storm home. And then she sort of got held up on the Cox Plate. So for me, Fangirl is the one with the fresh legs. If I had to back one on the race, I'd probably wanting to be backing her. I'd just have to be risking Mr. Brightside and Alligator Blood because they've been to the well so many times. They're both fixed up. They're coming back from 2,000, and they're going to have to absorb this really hot speed that I think Pride of Jenny will set, and they'll sort of be, the sitting ducks there, second and third. So I'm very keen on Fangirl, and I thought the interesting runner was Victoria Road. Has really, really good overseas form. I think had the feet troubles before the Cox Plate, blew a gale that day. I think the race just didn't quite suit it. I also think very much more of a mile than the 2,000 metre horse anyway, Victoria Road, based on his form overseas. So I think if there was one fresh horse on the scene, I just think, he's an entire, he's a valuable horse, Victoria Road, and I can't imagine after feet problems that they'd be running him here unless they thought they got him right and he was going to do something. And so, I'm risking alligator blood on Mr. Brightside. I'm backing Fangirl, I think, but I'm going to have something on Victoria Road because it's just the fresh horse on the scene with plenty of talent.
Yeah, the Winkers go on Victoria Road and they drop back to the 1,600 metres. So I think that's a good plan there from Kiramar and David Eustace, who take over the training of this galloper now from Aidan O'Brien. So he's definitely the intriguing horse, or the horse with the intrigue now, I think, tomorrow. Listening to Blake Shin and talking to Johnny O'Neill and the connections as well with that horse, I think he got too keen in the Cox Plate. So it'll be interesting to see how he settles and then gets into his rhythm over the mile at Flemington. In the Champion Stakes, West Wind Blows, who's been superb here in Australia since arriving, second in a Turnbull, second in a Caulfield Cup behind Without a Fight. You look at his numerical form, 2, 3, 2, 2, 2. I wonder if he knows how to win, however. Jamie Spencer rides at $2.70, Zaki at $5, Prowess at $6, Juaz at $6.50, and a Tissue at $8.50. Then we go down to Buckaroo at $15, Montefilia at $26, and then big prices for Wetor at 40-1, Young Verter at 40-1, Zarek at 50-1, and Pinstriped at 50-1 with Bet365, Dino.
Yeah, look, sort of mix of leaders and back markers have won this race. We're seeing 5 of the past 7 winners. The winners settled in the first 3 in running, and it sort of suits the likes of Zaki, Prowess will be up on speed, and Westwind Blows. Yeah, you're right about Westwind Blows. Hasn't sort of won for a while. I'm not sure if it's the horse or Jamie Spencer. And Jamie Spencer's had 17 rides here now without a winner yet. So I think there just has to be an opportunity to bet around Westwind Blows. I'm really keen on Jouet. I think she's just racing so consistently well with prep. She was third in the Underwood, third in the Caulfield Stakes. I don't think Caulfield is a track that she particularly excels at anyway. She came to the Cox Plate. That was a huge run. She was held up over 300, only beaten 1.3 lengths. Again, the Cox Plate's always the best form for this race. And I'm just very keen on her. I think Jouet clearly on top. Zaki's won this race the last couple of years in a row with a 9-year-old now, so it's hard to dive into him. But he's, on ratings, he's going just as well. And he's been very consistent this prep, done nothing wrong, and he's just going to camp up there and lead. I think prove hard to run down. Although again, the roughie was potentially Buckaroo. He just came out of that he's got that similar form line to Victoria Road, very classy entire. Joseph O'Brien stuck here and decided to give him another run in Australia. I just thought that King Charles race was a funny race, and there were some very, very good horses. He got beat a long way, but he sort of got back on the slow speed and really just started to warm into it late. Those last sort of sectionals were one of the best in the race, sort of outside of Fangirl and Kovalika. He was just starting to get warm. He's one that looks like he'll appreciate the 2,000 a bit more. And so, in a race where I'm just going to bet around Westwind Blows, I think, Jouet on top clearly with, potentially Zaki and Buckaroo dangers.
Great stuff, mate. Hopefully it's another fill-up for your followers tomorrow afternoon. You've been sensational all spring. Good luck. And for all of the SEN listeners out there, I keep on saying it each and every week, you're backing a winner on a Saturday. If you can go to Winning Edge Investments, go to the membership page, you type in SEN, and you get 50% off, lifetime 50% discount off a membership with Winning Edge Investments, mate. So a sensational offer for our listeners with your service.
Cheers, mate. Good luck to everyone tomorrow.
All right, good on you, mate. There's Dean Evans there. WinningEdgeInvestments.com. Tips and ratings from professional punters throughout the Spring Racing Carnival. Chances are you're about to lose.
At Winning Edge Investments, our team of highly skilled expert analysts and full-time professional punters review the data, crunch the figures, assess the best betting opportunities, and deliver them to your phone via our app and your email inbox in real time so you profit. Go to www.winningedgeinvestments.com. Look at our membership options Make your choice and enter the promo code PODCAST to receive a special 25% discount on your first membership just for listening. That's PODCAST in capital letters for a 25% ongoing discount on your first membership. Treat your betting like a business and invest intelligently with Winning Edge Investments.